In earlier chapter, when we configured LogStash on our machine, we tested it by creating a very simple data pipeline with the standard input and standard output. Okay. Now in this exercise, we will create another data pipeline, but in this case, our output will be stored in Elasticsearch, and for input, we will still use our keyboard. Okay. So let's bring the terminal, right? And under code samples, go to LogStash directory and there example number one. Okay, and you'll see a file called ls2essimple.conf. So in Elasticsearch, we are not writing the code, we are configuring the pipelines. Okay, and I show you how easy it is. So just open this file. Now here you can see we have some configurations, and this is all you need to create a data pipeline using LogStash. Okay, so let's go over it. So first item is your input, and it starts with the curly brace, ends with the curly brace, and within that you can specify what type of input will this data pipeline have. Okay, so in this case it is stdin, which is for standard input, our keyboard. Okay, you can also specify files. There are many different types of inputs supported by LogStash. We will cover few in our upcoming exercises, but you can learn about all the different inputs it can support on their website. Okay, so for output, we want output to be stored on Elasticsearch, so that's why it says Elasticsearch here, and we need to specify the host where Elasticsearch cluster is running, and as you know, our Elasticsearch is running at localhost 9200. Okay, and we also want standard output to display some debug information. Okay, so once you have all that, let's save the file and run it. Before we can run it, we need to make sure that our Elasticsearch cluster is running. Okay, and we can make sure that by going to our head plugin, and you can see the cluster health is yellow and it is running. Okay, all right. So let's run our configuration to build a data pipeline. Okay, so in order to run a configuration file, we specify logstash -f and the file name. Okay, and now if you press enter, it will start the logstash application and wait for us to give it some kind of input. Okay, so let's do it. All right, so it says our logstash API has started and it's pointing to this port 9600. Okay, now it's waiting for us to give it some input so that it can store that to Elasticsearch cluster. Okay, and you can also see that in its printed log. Here you can see it says new Elasticsearch output, and this output will be pointing to localhost 9200. Okay, so let's type something, and we can say hello there, welcome to logstash data pipeline. Okay, and enter. Now in the next line you see that some debug information is printed, and that's because of our configuration had a Ruby debug in it. Okay, and it is giving you the timestamp of when the input was received. Okay, and it is also telling you the version of this data, the host, and the message. Okay, now these four items will be sent over to Elasticsearch, and Elasticsearch will create a new index and type for it and save this document there as a JSON document. So let's go and check in our head plugin, do a refresh, and here you can see a new logstash has just been created and it has one document in it. Okay, so let's go and check this document. All right, so here you can see it has the same message which we sent it out as an input. Okay, so we just created a very simple data pipeline using logstash, and we use input as our keyboard. Okay, so we can type whatever and we can directly load it into Elasticsearch under an index. Okay, in next upcoming lessons we will build some more data pipelines using some other types of inputs. Okay, so I see you in the next class.